Freedom is the right of all sentient beings.
Broadcasting live from the basement of the Pentagon. This is WTF Nation Radio.
Let's roll.
Morning, Sergeant Major.
How do you know what kind of goddamn day it is?
Beautiful morning, Sergeant Major.
Are you a fucking weatherman now?
You're listening to Sergeant's Time on WTF Nation Radio.
Functional Veterans Center of Excellence, somewhere in the basement of the Pentagon, maybe Area 51, maybe in the Alamo, shit, maybe somewhere in Area 51, maybe Cheyenne Mountain, maybe at Vandenberg Space Force Base. This is Sergeant's Time. Your Army-centric military news specific. We try to stay out of politics. Spanky's off doing some other stuff, so she knows anytime she walks away, when Spanky walks away, ice will play type of thing. Not that ice, but me, but the call sign that the kids gave me from way back in the day. Welcome to Sergeant's Time on this 22 May 2025 in the year of our what is going on in the airborne world dumpster fire? That's not a dumpster fire. All right, although K-Jump Master, that's what I'm talking about. We'll get to that in a minute. We got a guest. We have a guest. Well, the guest is we're going back in time. So the guest has been pre-recorded. So I'm just letting you guys know that after the show, after the live portion and we go on a break, it's going to go to a pre-recorded interview with a guest, Colonel Evans, a DUSTOFF Legend. And so I just want you guys to know that he is, I've been able to speak to him for quite some time before and during and then after the interview. And I was fangirling a little bit, being a former aviation guy and then having, hearing stories about, dust-off pilots and what they did in Vietnam and obviously during the GWOT. But man, it was kind of, I'll admit it. There's going to be some times that I was like, I was kind of, I don't know, when you fangirl with somebody, there's somebody that you want to meet, and the next thing you know, they're, I don't know, you get hyped up. You just, that's what it's like. Being assigned to a medevac unit when I was stationed in Germany and not back at Bragg. Where's Josiah? And I again thought that, hey, this is talking to a living legend. So I'll get in more details with that later. Actually, you're just gonna see the pre-record, and then I'll still be in the chats discussing and all that. Big news! I'm gonna tell you what. All American Week has come to a close back at Bragg. And I'm gonna tell you what, man. I don't know if you guys saw we got the word to not post this yet until we got the word to be announced, but. Yeah, you know how we work. We decided to, hey, let's just post this at this specific time, and then that way the audience can see just what are we talking about. So for those of you in the jumpy community, the jumpy boys and girls community, you guys know that you get $150 worth of jump pay, right? And it's been $150 for quite some time. Well, Jump Masters, I remember in the jumping world, it was always a joke amongst jump masters that, what must be nice. I got to go and collect all this jump master pay. Just joking around. All jokes aside, everybody would joke about, I'm getting all this, crazy jump master pay to do the good, chuckle, 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 snortle, snortle, snortle. That you didn't, yeah, okay, whatever. Ain't no way that you're going to get Jumpmaster pay. Well, lo and behold, guess what happened? Jumpmaster pay and a raise in jump pay. So I'm going to say, aside from the some of the leadership stuff, we could argue back and forth on what's good. What makes a good leader? I know in some communities, it doesn't matter. Some individuals like to collect that because we already got it. Once we post it, we already got it in the comments. Tankers deserve special pay. Cyber people deserve special pay. What was the no demo? If you're dealing with demo, like if you're a diver or something like that, yeah, you deserve your pays. There's a lot of people talking about special pays that they should be getting because now everyone likes to talk about the airborne community. It's not relevant. It's not relevant. Not relevant. Okay. All right. You say so. I don't understand why someone would say that the airborne community would be an irrelevant community. Oh, well, you guys got 20,000 paid parachutist positions cut. Right, but some of these positions were cut that were not in areas that were required for them to be on jump status. Does that make sense? So if you are jumping and you are in a position like you're a line unit, you're on artillery, infantry, soft, I can kind of see you jumping it. The 82nd has their own specific requirements for them to be on jump status. The PFC in the S1 shop down in the line jumps with the CG. That's different. That's a whole different mentality. I get in discussions and heated arguments with some of my fellow non-airborne qualified personnel or legs friends, and they get mad. Why is your position? Why do you guys need to get jump pay? Why do you guys need to get extra pay? You're never going to jump in combat. Blah, 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 blah. I can think of no other organization other than the airborne world, the actual airborne. I'm not talking about the 101st. I'm talking about actual airborne world where you jump. And I'm just going to say it right now, 18 hours up anywhere around the world. If you've not been on DRF, DRB, GRF, which is the Division Ready Brigade, Division Ready, Force, the Global Response Force, if you're not able to pick up and move at a moment's notice on a phone call, then maybe I'm just saying, you may need to assert your or assess your unit. Can you be better than the 82nd in that aspect, or 18th Airborne Corps in that aspect? Oh, it's changed to IRF now. Okay, there you go. See, I'm dated. Now I've been dated. Of all the participations of supporting the 82nd that I've hit, all of them have hit specific gates to IRF. So now it's IRF. Well, I appreciate the update there. Sorry. I mean, it's not my... Everyone wants to do airborne until it's time to be... Oh, yeah, you ain't lying. Yep. Everyone wants to be airborne until it's time to do airborne shit. The constant PT, the constant training. They want to brag all about that stuff. No pun intended. I can brag. But we're cutting all these positions. If you see the positions that are being cut, then you're seeing that makes sense. I can make a dig at the tanker world and Cav, but their units are getting deactivated for them to speak up. So, sorry. I had to do that dig. Yeah, I got a lot of hate. Everyone's like talking crap about the airborne community. Like, I think it's more the capability of being able to rapidly deploy 18 hours around the globe at a moment's notice. You get the phone call. There's a specific, there's a sequence, an H-hour, N-hour sequence that you got to hit. Not all units could do that. The 82nd Airborne Division and some soft organizations are able to deploy. They're cutting my PPP, which makes sense. Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. See? Yeah. Oh, yeah. PZ. Yeah. I mean, some of the spots that you could see where you'd be a cut of a paid parachutist position, I can understand that. Yeah. Exactly. Like I said before, in some spots. The 82nd Airborne, when they do get an opportunity to deploy, when they do get out there, I don't know, they don't get enough love. Some airborne organizations that are on the IRF status were already deployed and set up and ready to go before some tank units decided what tank to put on the boat. So no dissing on the Jumpmaster pay. I, as a former current and qualified Jumpmaster, former current, Graduated from the greatest advanced airborne school on the planet, U.S. Army 82nd Airborne Advanced Airborne School. Jumpmaster graduate, AMO graduate. Let me direct your attention to. Oh, I got my stuff back there. So yes, I'm biased. That's what I'm talking about. Jumpmaster pay. Raise in jump pay. All the way. I could go on, but I just think that's awesome. And now all my buddies are like, hey, man, we're going to get some retroactive pay? Nah, I mean, that would be nice to have some retroactive pay. But, you know, some of the pays that are happening currently, like, say, for instance, for aviators and EOD, I think would say the joke is, haha, that's funny. But yeah, that would be a funny joke. That would be kind of funny to have that happen, to have retroactive pay. That would be kind of cool. That would be an incentive for the Soldier for Life program, right? Hey, you were a former current and qualified jump master. You want to get some back pay if you want to go on a round of the world tour? Do you want a medal or a chest to pin it on? I have a chest, actually. Branko. I knew $150 retro pay, yeah. Do I want a medal or a chest to pin it? I got a chest. I do. I work out. I mean, there might in between moves or something like that, you know. Why you dissing on my chest? Don't get Branko. Don't do this. Don't get this into an inter-branch rivalry here, because Airborne's still there. Cav is going away. Just saying. I don't want to get in that argument back and forth. So big news. That's awesome. Secretary Hegseth visited Fort Bragg for the division review and shot the shit and sat with the soldiers. Sat with some of the soft guys over at the SWIC DFAC. Interesting conversations. Glad to have everybody providing us stuff in the inbox. So we put a call out that if you guys are doing All American Week stuff and you guys got stuff the All American Week, feel free to send it for the photos of the week. I'm more than happy. There's some great. We're getting some videos that were getting pushed to us, and so the one that made was the Red Devil one, Devil in baggy pants. Already the inbox is trying to ID who that guy is, and hey, I mean, we're not going to reveal the sanctity of the inbox to find out the identity of this individual. So, anyways, damn. Man, Branko, you're getting a little touchy there on the Cav comment, huh? Sorry, man. Interbranch rivalry about business. Yeah, beach chest, unga bunga. An airborne retiree sometimes is in better shape than other branch retirees. Sorry, that's just the way it is. So, real quick, you guys have been hearing stories, and there was a social media post that's been going around about Rangers going out and attacking Crab Island and firing blanks at people and drinking and all that. There's a movie back in the day where guys were doing some training in the woods and thought that it was funny. Yeah, I know who it is. There's a movie called Southern Comfort. You guys see that old movie? It's where guys go out, some National Guards individuals go out and train, shooting blanks at some Billy Bobs, and Billy Bob said, "Oh, what the hell?" And they returned fire with real bullets. Oh yes. Mwah. I love the rivalry already going on in the chats. Ooh, it's getting heated up in there. Let me fan myself with my AER propaganda. Donate to AER, Army Emergency Relief. Check them out. Check their website. They got a lot of new changes when it comes to stuff like that. Hey, Jesse. So anyways, you heard of the movie Southern Comfort. Well, apparently at Crab Island, there was these dudes that were from the 6th Ranger Battalion, Training Battalion, and went out and simulated attacking it. And they got a lot of attention. The inbox was just flying on all this information, and we're like, okay, well, let's see what we got. Let's see what the videos are. And the videos from a different angle look like, okay, they're just guys doing mock training or something like that. But then there was other individuals that were freaking out, reacting as if it was an active shooter event. And so that really wasn't kind of the big deal until there was pictures shown of them hanging out with the pontoon boats, drinking beer. Now, I will say this: this being Memorial Day weekend, do not drink and touch a weapon. So 18 Army Rangers have been suspended for allegedly firing blanks at a Florida beach. The instructors of the 6th Ranger Training Battalion have been suspended for firing blanks. Let's look at the video here right quick. Let's see. Let me open up the sound here. Oh, that was it? Oh, okay. I thought there was more video here. Let me see. Let's look at this other one here. So, Army investigation. Let's go ahead. Let's just go ahead and scroll through this. There was some video in here. Somebody had a video in here. Yeah, I guess not. T-Mobile really wants to get that military veteran discount, man. They're all over that. See if I can find the video. Yeah, I think this is it right here. Let's see. Still getting this one up. Not a good look, anyways. Guys, drinking beer and drinking it almost appears bad. Operation Antler. Yeah. All right, here we go. Let's see. So that's what got everybody riled up. So that right there is what got everybody riled up, and the inbox is flooded. Even the police said, "Hey, yeah, we know there was an event with this, but we don't know about the other stuff." And some of the images that we've seen, and some of the images that have hit the inbox, which I'm just gonna go ahead and let them handle the investigation, because there's a lot of pictures of the guys drinking a couple of Mickey's Michelob Lights, and a couple of guys, yeah. So all that stuff is all on social media, and this wasn't like these were civilians wondering what the hell was going on. Why is this happening? There was a dude that Michael Ingram, a charter boat captain who was at Crab Island at the time, that had told Task and Purpose that the soldiers did not give any advance warning that they intended to fire their weapons, which everybody, crowd control, get everybody out of the water, which then everybody's prompted to, oh shit, I'm gonna take cover. Now, in this day and age of active shooters and active event, that's why I said they were lucky some Billy Bobs didn't return fire. It would have been ugly. So, I mean, yeah, is this kind of, let me see, where's another one at? Somebody just sent me a video. Hang on. Let's see what this one is. Let me just secure the mic here. Fleet Week, that's why. All right, hang on. I think this is the same one that we saw earlier. Yeah, I'm here. You guys aren't hearing the sound, but I'm just hearing the sound. It's the same guy that is having difficulties with that blank firing adapter not being properly tightened on that weapon, and that's what happens when the BFA is not properly fired. That does not allow the gas to cycle back for that weapon. So again, that's the yeah, man, you can't be doing that. Can't be doing that because everybody saw it. You can't deny it. And, everyone's watching just remember, guys, everyone's watching everything that you do. They saw what you had in your hand. There's no, and of course, on the social media posts, there was individuals saying, "Oh my God, there's shots fired," and in come the actual guys, which is, at this point, I'm glad they kind of jumped in there. We do a lot of posts where somebody, like, they can't take a joke on U.S. Army WTF moments, and obviously, I didn't realize that individuals thought that we were being serious media because the Army doesn't sometimes consider us serious media. So I figured, okay, so then why do you take us as serious media when we post a joke or a meme and you actually have the actuallys? Actuallys, that's not really that. So at this incident, I should say, kind of glad that the actuallys were in the comments saying that's a blank adapter on the barrel. There's no shots being fired. But like that boat captain said, dude, what are you doing? Why are you firing? Why are you doing that? So Jennifer Gunn, a spokesperson for the Army Maneuver Center of Excellence at Fort Benning, said, confirmed that the suspended Ranger instructors participated in the Billy Bowlegs Pirate Festival, which is held on the evening of the 16th, on May 16th at nearby Fort Walton Beach. And the festival includes a mock battle where the Rangers fire blanks while riding in small boats to capture Billy Bowlegs. This was the only approved festival activity that involved the Rangers firing their weapons, the Pirate Festival. So this is what the spokesperson for the city of Fort Walton Beach told A Task and Purpose, that the Pirate Festival, which is 5 miles from Crab Island. So we don't know what occurred at Crab Island on Friday and cannot comment except to say that it was not part of the Billy Bowlegs Pirate Festival. Yeah, that's a good one, Heath. They're going to police that brass up? So a lot of individuals are like, whoa, it's not a big deal. Toughen up, Buttercup, and all that. But if the events were connected and they just decided to drive down and then you've been spotted drinking beer, I'm going to tell you what, you can't touch the lips. Alcohol cannot touch the lips when you're handling weapons. That's it. Now, maybe they had a guard or secured the weapons and put them away and then went out and hung out with the civilians to do a potential on-the-spot recruiting event. Yeah, that would have been good. Patrick says somebody failed land nav or water nav. Yeah, you ain't lying, huh? That is a little bit of a, go to Jumpmaster School, you NCOs. Oh, Travis in there dropping the Jumpmaster stuff. Yeah, that's right. Only you got to be on jump status first. You got to go to Airborne school first. That's right, Travis. Go to Jumpmaster School. Man, you guys are just like, oof. Don't say anything about butt chugging them. Well, I don't even know what that means. So that's been like flooded the inbox right now was that Army Ranger stuff. And then of course, other information, but the 18 Army Rangers suspended now. And then of course, the chat, the comments on the first post that we did about the incident, and then the second post, the discussion that I'm talking about right now. This is a developing story update, which the 18 Army Rangers suspended. Individuals are now saying, are they tabbed or scrolled? Are Ranger instructors considered Rangers, or are they considered TRADOC? That whole conversation. Well, it's been funny to watch in the chat in the comments. So go to the comments of the first one because we're going to post this one later tonight. The 18 Army Rangers suspended now is like all the Rangers in there that are going. They're not scrolled. They're not tabbed. They're instructors, or they actually guys came back on this one too. Are they really? Are they really Rangers if they're instructors? Are Ranger instructors because they belong to TRADOC? Well, that's like saying that due to the fact that TRADOC also oversees SOF in some of their POIs, then are you saying now that the Special Forces, PSYOP, and CA guys are not qualified in their, are they not, whatever? I don't know. SF PSYOP or a CA guy loses their job and they just get thrown out of the Army. Ranger loses their position. They just go back to big army. Man, oh, serious, man. You guys are like touchy about that airborne stuff, man. I kind of dig it. Good. Let the hate flow through you. Good. Exactly. Man, some of y'all angry. Well, how come you're giving them a pay raise if you're cutting 20,000 pay parachuters positions? Delta instructors fall under different classifications there, Pip. They're different. That's a different realm, different sphere of responsibility. So I'm just saying. But yeah. They're going to post that update there and people are going to get mad again, arguing in the fact that this is messed up. Because you always hear about those guys. What was that? I'm a gray man, whatever. Nobody knows that I'm carrying. Concealed carrying, stuff like that. What if the Rangers met some civilians that were, I've been here to save the day. I'm just saying. Watch the movie Southern Comfort. It's an old movie. Southern Comfort. Just look it up on IMDb. And you'll be, it's a very, very interesting take on that topic of just what happens when you, yeah. Again, hey man, I am not going to, I wasn't there. I'm just saying what we saw in the videos, but like PZ said in the chats, it's not a good look when people see you and they're taking pictures. And everyone has their phones out these days, especially if you're in uniform, because they don't know what's going on. Then of course, all the tinfoilers are going to come out saying this is Jade Helm on the water. And it's bad enough. It's bad enough that's an issue. So again, hey, I just want to go back to the Jumpmaster stuff. That's awesome. Congrats, Jumpmasters. That's what I'm talking about. Jump pay going up. Yeah, I saw that too. Somebody was saying it is rumored, and we don't post much once we get told by the some individuals in the Army. I will not say the office of the Chief of Public Affairs because, yeah. But some offices say, hey, could you hold off on posting this until it makes its rounds and blah, 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 blah. All right. No problem. We'll do that. So, again. Dude, but you guys, man, you guys are getting sensitive about that jump stuff, man. I will say the most easily offended right now about that stuff are tank. Hey, Branko, I'm not saying this because you're a tanker, but there's a lot of individuals that got pretty triggered on the comments about the Jumpmaster stuff for tankers and talking about All American Week and all this. You guys know that the page was born out of, brag. So I'm just letting you guys know that. There are other pages that are specifically centric to their installations as well. 101st Screaming Memes. They're 101st centric. Fancy Bear. 82nd Airborne centric. U.S. Army WTF moments, Army centric. Yeah. U.S. Navy WTF moments, U.S. Space Force WTF moments. They're out there. But again, I'm just saying, go Airborne. If you want that extra pay, go Airborne. You want the extra pay, be a Jumpmaster. Now, if anything else, that would be, I guess you'd say, an incentive to do that. PIQ. Hey, sorry I'm late, man. I was writing a report and I got distracted by the Irish ancestry journey of some celeb that I've never heard of. Huh? Does Cav get hazard pay for all the... God. You guys are being mean to Cav, and I'm trying to make this show not as a smoke pit like because of the guest that I'm going to be having. I want that individual to enjoy, to allow the the individual to Colonel Evans to pass to pass it around to his family. A 50 cal does wonders on troops in the air. Oh, okay. Technically, paratroopers are open targets when they're jumping out of aircraft. So yeah, that's kind of the thing that you kind of. TV on the background. Okay, gotcha. All right, appreciate it. So yeah, congrats. Some of the you guys I love. Yes, good. Yeah, I see this hate. Holy crap. Did I go visit Fort Bragg to see this? Nope, I did not. I will say that there are individuals that part of the team may have been part of the team that have a team of the team that were there and we're happy to report. Does the Cav lose basic pay for not being there? Gary at the top rope. I'm not saying we're the anti-Cav, but if there was what do you do here? Do we need a Doge Cav? Man, you guys are savage. You guys are savage, man. Do we need a Doge Cav? I think Cav already got deactivated before the Dogeness happened. So what did I miss on U.S. Airborne? PIQ. I was just reporting the news that the Airborne community have received a higher pay for soldiers performing the duties of Jumpmaster, and also there are Cav who and then performing special duties, and of course jump pay increasing as well. And there's also rumors. Streets are saying that Ranger pay is going to go up. I don't know Ranger pay. You guys are mean on Cav, man. I have some friends that are Cav, and oh man, woo. They're actually, infantry is the anti-Cav. But what happens when infantry is Cav? Is that like an oxymoron? Is that a paradox? Is that a Cav paradox? One wonders, huh? Oh man, you got and taking any illegals anytime soon, so you can sign up. PIQ, I'm more than willing to help you out. If you are a foreign citizen and you want to die for our country, the U.S., and you want to wear our uniform, I can throw more information at you, so that way you can join up. Which brings me to the next point before we go on a break and start the show. Which brings me to the next point. Speaking of ICE, and not me, not call sign ICE, but ICE, Immigration and Customs Enforcement. Immigration and Customs Enforcement. And this right here, once this goes up, woo, people are going to get mad. Now look, if you're an immigrant and you're from a country that you want to leave and you want to serve our country, if you want to serve the United States of America and fight alongside us, I mean, like, soldiers, Marines, Navy, Airmen, Guardians, and Coast Guards individuals, then again, I'm all for it. Those are the individuals that we need. Sorry, that's not a Monday edition topic, but I just think that it's pretty admirable that you want to leave your country to join our country's military to become a citizen. I think that right off the bat, you should be moved forward. I'm a little biased when someone says, well, wait a minute, there's people who've been waiting all this, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, but they're not signing on the dotted line to die for our country. That's the thing that I'm saying, yeah, we can go ahead and move them a little bit forward in line. But the ICE, Immigration and Customs Enforcement agents, will screen visitors at 3 Marine Corps bases. Yes. So when you hand your ID card, bloop, to the individual at the guard, then surprise, surprise, if they run your stuff. Believe it or not, they do that already. When you get your ID card scanned and you have the record, whatever says that you're going to have a warrant for your arrest or you're not allowed on base or something like that, there's a database that has it. I know a lot of installations wish they had that for people that they don't like that shit posted on them on social media, because I've heard rumors of that. They want to try to finagle something so that way if a veteran who is also a shit poster or an influencer on social media, I should just start posting emails. They try to get into that. Oh, yeah. Ban that person from base. Why? Because why? So again, ICE, Immigration and Customs Enforcement agents will screen. Now, they're already doing it. Matter of fact, let me pop the article up. They're already doing it at Camp Pendleton, and they will be sent to Marine Corps Base Hawaii and Marine Corps Base Quantico, Virginia. So if you try to sneak on and you're illegal, see ya. We don't want to be ya. That's not being callous at all, is it? Don't be here illegal. You will get caught. Everyone's already talking about the real ID stuff and all the drama with real ID. And we'll say this, in true S1 fashion, whatever your S1 told you about ID cards is false. Don't listen to them, because they're leading you down a bad path. There will be an article posted about that as well at US Army WTF Moments. But dudes, you got no. So real ID. Everybody knows you're supposed to have real ID, and you're supposed to already be, using it and all this other stuff. The biggest thing that a lot of S1s are saying to the force is that your ID card is not like a real ID. Even though the TSA spokesperson said it doesn't matter. If you have a government issued ID, retiree, dependent, active reserve, blah, 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 how's the grass going to get cut? Damn, dude. What are you talking? Hey, whoa, Mike, what are you talking about? Whoa, only I can make those jokes. Are you talking about how landscape businesses or something like that are predominantly probably have a large Hispanic employment rate? Is that what you're saying? Is that what you're saying? I know you're not meaning it on purpose. So. Scissors. So I'm going to say this again, and this will get posted on US Army WTF Moments. The TSA spokesperson has said, do not wait. Do not, how do I say this? Do not wait to get your ID stuff if you're a civilian, obviously, and all that. Get that real ID stuff squared away. They are going to let you fly. There's just some drama that you're going to have to go through a little bit extra to get you. But if you are in the military, if you're a retiree, if you are a dependa, I'm going to say dependent now. That's going to be my thing now, dependas, because dependas are pissing me off right now. Then you are good to go. That is like a real ID. And as much as your S1, we got to flood it. Some S1 somewhere posted it on a Facebook group, and we're like, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? We don't know anything about this. Last we were told is that real ID was going to be good to go. And if you had your credentials, your military credentials. I think they even said, how's ICE going to get tamales? I make the tamales. What are you talking about? Everybody knows when, everybody knows that I can cook up some mean tamales. As a matter of fact, I even brought some to the unit one time. And yeah. Retired ID is real ID. Retired, yeah, really, real ID. Yeah, that's the real ID you need to get. Everyone aspires to get that blue card. Yes, the blue cards are good too. So it's just like, again, your S1s, man. Which we're gonna post a story about some S1s. So there's an organization out in Hawaii. I know I'm drifting here a little bit. So there's an organization out in Hawaii that doesn't allow for, I guess, what's called aloha time. I've never been stationed in Hawaii, and I've never heard of it, but apparently it's like phantom time or family time or, family soldier time or whatever. And it happens on either a Friday or a Thursday. And they, the individuals that are off this S1, this S1 is giving their soldiers aloha time off, but they're in an organization that the commander does not allow aloha time for them. That's going to get posted as well. So I'm just letting you know, if you're an organization out in Hawaii and you're releasing your soldiers for aloha time because you work at an HHB, but then you're not going to have, but the soldiers in the organization aren't allowed to have aloha time because there's requirements, mission requirements, training requirements. Yeah. Yeah. Can you find the article on the Real ID? Yeah, I think it's, yeah, matter of fact, let me pull that up right quick. Let me pull up that article for you guys. So again, sometimes you guys, sometimes the content just writes itself out. It's not even to do that. So, yeah, ICE referral to rule number 1: never talk about tamales. Yeah. If they deport all illegals, they need to use the used tire market. Look, all those comments and talking points. I'm not going to get a little political on this stuff that we've seen about. Oh well, who's going to mow my lawn or who's going to be like that? Damn, dude, that's what you think. That's what you think we're all about. Let's see. Let me pull up the article. Where was it at? Oh, I appreciate it. Okay, well, yeah, it wasn't. Yeah, thank you. It wasn't Task and Purpose. It was the Army Times. Okay. Sorry. Here, let me pop that in the. Let me pop that in the chats. Let me pop that in the chats for you. There you go. This is going to get shared this weekend. So, yeah, Emerson. There's not a lot of HHB battalion. Yeah, exactly that. Emerson, you got the joke. It's in there. So again, I'll say this again. Your S1 that's like really lying to y'all, and there's been a lot of pages that I've been deleting that false information because somewhere some S1 is acting like that's gospel and saying that it's not going to count and freaking everybody out and flooding the inbox. I'm like, what are you talking about? So as of May 7th, you guys know, and this was going to be the topic, but as May 7th, as you know, individuals must show real ID to board domestic flights. Everyone's talking about S1s have been saying because some S1 urban legend, I guess, decided that they wanted to be correct, and they're not. Real ID, your driver's license identified by a star, everybody knows about that, blah, blah, blah. And then some travelers have been telling Military Times, and their units have been telling them as well, that military IDs will be or have been rejected at the airport. I guess there was an issue with. So anyways, TSA spokesman Dave Fitz said, our officers are trained to accept military IDs at security checkpoints. It is an unlikely event that an officer will not accept a military ID. The passenger should ask to speak to a supervisor. So be it Karen. The U.S. Department of Defense IDs to include, now mind you, this is the TSA spokesperson, to include IDs for active, retired military are acceptable forms of ID. So there it is. So everyone relax, stop freaking out. And that HH battalion, HHBN battalion, yeah, HHB. You're gonna get busted on your Aloha time. So anyways, I'm going to go ahead and let you guys know after the show is complete, after the interview is complete, that we'll end the stream. So just real quick, just want to give real quick heads up. So that way everyone's like, that's it. There's no more, there's the show ended. Yep. That's the way it's going to happen. So again, I just want to real quick bring up then, of course, you're listening to Sergeant's Time. You're listening to us broadcasting live on 5 different, matter of fact, I'll do some real quick housekeeping, so that way you guys know once the interview starts, then it's the interview. How about that? So it's Thursday, Sergeant's Time. Normally I have Spanky in the gunner seat, but she had to go do some stuff. FTX Wicked Co-ops. Make sure you catch them when you see them pop up. Today they're out hanging out with the guys that create, what's that game? Among Us? No, not Among Us. One of Us, whatever it is. Most of Us, End of Us. I'm just kidding. They are out hitting shell games, which I'm kind of excited because they're going to come back and report with some good news, and I'm looking forward to see what they got going on. That's going to be fun. And then of course, Gray Zone Warfare. We're doing some stuff with them. And again, this is again co-ops and FTX. They're all going to be doing stuff. Of course, obviously with the note of Pop Culture Warrior because that's his lane. So pop culture in all over the place. Sunday, the actual King Smith. And the coach, what do you hear? What do you say on the sports bar? The Monday edition. It's where I get to, run off the military topics and be a little bit political. on Monday with myself and Massey. Tuesday, Michael Cataschio, also known as CQ or the Pop Culture Warrior, with his angry crew of Mad Mike and Angry Elf. Wednesday, the Smoke Pit with Radar and TZ. And then, of course, myself and Spanky for Search Time. So, again, going to take a break. Going to set up the interview. And then, again, thank you guys for listening. We're broadcasting live on 5 different platforms. We're live on X at WTFNationRadio.com. We're live on 2 Facebook pages at U.S. Army WTF Moments and WTF Nation Radio, and 2 YouTube pages at U.S. Army WTF Moments and WTF Nation Radio. What else? I think that's it. Yeah, I think we got them all. That's all of them. So make sure you share, like, and follow. And again, once the stream ends, once the interview is over, then the stream over. Hey, pay attention to this. Colonel Evans is a down to earth. He's a medevac legend. Dust-off pilot in Vietnam, and you wouldn't even. This guy is so humble. I mean, and he's stacked. He's 27 years of service. I even fumble at the end because I was so happy and giddy to have him to come on to shoot the breeze with us. So again, make sure you share, like, and follow. And let's go ahead and take a break right quick, and I'll set up the interview. So y'all have a safe Memorial Day. Make sure you toast and remember and speak of their names. We will not have a Memorial Day show because I'm committed to an event that I will probably not make it in time. So as opposed to trying to rush and not do a show at all, then I'll just let you guys know. So again, appreciate you guys. And you're going to be seeing over the weekend links to guides of events that are happening for Memorial Day. You'll also see Arlington National Cemetery links to get posted and all that. Again, toast up, remember the fallen, and thank you guys and gals for listening. And let me cue up this thing up, and y'all have a good weekend. Shots.
This station is now the ultimate...
WTF Nation Radio. WTF Nation Radio.
Take it from me, Ice. You can't just float around space not caring about stuff forever.
The voice of U.S. Army. WTF Moments. This is WTF Nation Radio.
Shit in the bag, Pogue.
A soldier's tale of wild misdeeds, from the chow hall to the PT grind. You won't believe the things you'll find. Drill sergeant's rage, a fiery storm. Private tension far from the norm, in the shadows where the secrets lie. Army WTF you can't deny. Army top of the stories unfold. In the heart of the chaos the truth is told. From the field to the base the legends grow. Army double the force, the madness we know. A Humvee stuck in the mud so deep. A midnight rain, no time for sleep. Emerge straight like gold in hand. The strangest sights in this foreign land. Drill sergeant's rage, a fiery storm. Private antics far from the norm, in the shadows where the secrets lie. Army WTF you can't deny. Army top of the stories unfold. In the heart of the chaos the truth is told. From the field to the base the legends grow. Army top of the force, the madness we know. The mud so deep, a midnight rain, no time for sleep. Emerge straight like gold in hand. The strangest sights in this foreign land. Drill sergeant's rage, a fiery storm. Private antics far from the norm, in the shadows where the secrets lie. Army WTF you can't deny. Army top of the stories unfold. In the heart of the chaos the truth is told. From the field to the base the you the tales untold. In the Army's world, where the brave and bold live the moments that make us say, Army double for fuff every single day.
I am here determined to stop this future atrocity.
This station is now the ultimate power in the universe. I suggest we use it.
The voice of U.S. Army, WTF Moments. This is WTF Nation Radio.
I find your lack of faith disturbing.
Everything stated on WTF Nation Radio is to be considered the opinion of the person that stated it, and not an official representation of WTF Nation Radio or U.S. Army WTF Moments.
Price does not include tax, title, or license. Some assembly required. Each item sold separately. Batteries not included. Objects in mirror are closer than they appear. If conditions persist, contact a physician. Individual results may vary. Keep out of the reach of children. Avoid prolonged exposure to direct sunlight. Keep in a cool, dark place. And
please enjoy the show. Shots.
I hope you guys are enjoying the show. You guys know right now that this segment is going to be pre-recorded, and currently I'd like you guys and gals to meet our guest, Colonel Otis D. Evans. Sir, welcome to Sergeant's Time, and thank you for coming on board.
Indeed.
Sir, tell us a little bit about yourself, and then we can go into the details of why you're here.
Well, I'm an old Vietnam veteran. I grew up in a little place in Texas called Brenham, Texas. The only thing significant about Brenham, Texas is the home of Bluebell ice cream. I went to school there, high school, and then on to then Prairie View A&M College, ROTC, and subsequently 4.5 or 5 years later, I found myself in the jungles of Vietnam flying helicopter ambulances.
Now,
and then from then on, a career in the military.
So how long did you serve altogether, sir?
27 years all total.
27 years. Okay. Well, that's not bad. That's not bad for a pilot. I mean, was all that time flying, or was that time just command mixed with flying and all that?
Well, total flying years was about 12 years because I was a medical service corps officer. And if you chose to stay in the flying field, you would limit what ranks you could attain because we just didn't have a lot of positions for 05s and 06s in that field.
Okay.
So I flew for 12 years and then switched over first to healthcare operations. Then ultimately I switched over to healthcare administration.
How is that going from being a helicopter pilot to doing the medical service corps portion of the career field? Surely it was a big change, right? Going from flying helicopters to this.
Well, for some of my colleagues, it was tough because there are some folks that are just born aviators and all they want to do is fly.
Right.
I never intended, I will be honest with you, I never intended to be an aviator. That was never what I sought to do. Matter of fact, I went to school and I wanted to be a dairy farmer, but that didn't work out. But anyway, I got in the Army. I had 4 years to do, and I chose to do it in the medical service because I felt that would get me out of combat. Well, I blew that one because they conned me into going to flight school. And next thing you know, I was right there in the mix of things.
Right. So you came into you became a pilot. How was it? Did you think that you were just like, oh, okay, I'm just going to be flying a helicopter, I'm going to be flying air ambulance? I mean, what was your thoughts going in?
Well, when I say conned into it, they had a desperate need for, especially the medical service, need for helicopter ambulance pilots. Mm-hmm. So one of the things they would do during the Officer Basic was, if you would take this Army test to check if you had the aptitude to be an aviator, they would give you half a day off.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Well, half a day off, man, that was a valuable thing to have.
Right. You ain't lying. You got to have it. Yeah. So, anytime they give you extra time off, take it.
So a number of us went down and we took the test, and we had no intention of passing it. But we didn't realize then that the whole idea was to get us to take the test. Well, I realized the folly of my actions about 3 weeks later when I was a barrage of medical tests, the physical examination. Consequently, about 3 months later, I was in flight school. And of course, once there, I wasn't going to shame my family by failing. So I just went on through it.
Amen.
Yeah. And then next thing you know, I'm in, as we used to say in flight school, I was a Peter pilot in Paddy Land pulling pitch with the pros.
You talk about your family. Now, your family also served. Your whole, you had a lot of people in your family that served.
Yeah, my father. Well, we go all the way back to my grandfather. My grandfather was in World War One. Mm-hmm. As really the actual term for it was a teamster. He drove a team of mules and he pulled supplies. Mm-hmm. But in those days, they called him a mule skinner.
Oh, wow.
And of course, we have a portrait of him in the house in his uniform. He was a pretty sharp old dude. Yeah. And then my father served in World War II and as a Navy seaman. And then myself, my second brother, and my third brother, all three of us served. My fourth brother got out of it for somewhere. Mm-hmm. Hook or crook. He didn't go to the Army. Matter of fact, I was in Vietnam at the same time as my second brother.
Mm.
I was in I Corps, and he was down around July with the 11th AmeriCal.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then, did you have any children that served in the military as well?
Yes, I have one son. My youngest son, Anthony, is currently on serving with the National Guard here in Texas. Matter of fact, he's been on border duty since about 4 years now.
Oh wow. Okay, so the Evans family is rolling. They're always busy in the military. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Well, I guess it's in our blood.
Yeah, I was about to say it's in the genes. It's in the genes. Okay, so you then attended. Okay, so you went ROTC. You went to college. You got selected Medical Service Corps. You got through. You were rolling through, ready to go in flight school. Tell us your time about once you found out you were going to go to the 101st.
Well, there was what they call a replacement battalion, sort of a reception station kind of idea there. And most aviators, they would decide what your assignment, what duty you were going to perform once you got there based on what your qualifications in flight school. Okay. There were guys that just were regular transport pilots, and I fit in that category as a regular transport pilot. And then there were the gunners, guys that went to flight school and came out in gunnery. But being a medical service corps officer, there was no question of what unit I was going to go to or what duty I was going to perform. So I got tasked to go to the 101st. They had a newly constructed air ambulance platoon, and there I was, with that group. I had an idea of what I would be doing because I was fortunate enough in flight school to meet a warrant officer who had done that before. And he kind of gave me some ideas of what I would be facing, but I had no idea. But anyway, I was a good student and he taught me what he could. But I really was so appreciative of once I got in the unit, all the guys that have been there for a while, their duty was to teach the new guys everything that they thought you needed to know. First of all, to survive. Secondly, do the mission and do it with be successful in doing that mission.
Right. Now you got there, and then immediately, do you remember your first flight in Vietnam? Just what was your first experience as soon as you pulled pitch on your first mission?
Well, I don't remember the exact first mission because I'm sure nobody was willing. You gotta understand these old pilots. They don't take a new guy out on a nasty mission. They gotta see what your tolerance level is.
Gotcha.
And quite frankly, I understand it now and later on. There is that you never know what you're going to do when you're put under pressure. And so what they want to do is check you out slowly and carefully and gauge what your level of tolerance is for stress and that sort of thing. So my first flights were generally daytime missions, routine medical evacuations. And as their confidence in me grew, then I was taking on the more serious missions. Mm-hmm. But because the 101st at that time was going from 6 aircraft to 12 aircraft, we had more pilots than we had missions. So I, myself, and along with 4 other guys was sent down south to the 45th Air Ambulance Company in Long Bend to really pick up some experience because they were doing a lot of flying down there.
Right.
And I really got my baptism with fire with the 4th platoon of the 45th, which was located in a little fire base in Lai. And I flew every day there and under some of the toughest circumstances. Mm-hmm. And they just didn't know how new I was.
Yeah. I mean, you guess you're probably faking the funk pretty good then, right?
Well, I could fake it pretty good.
We also heard from some of the, like I said, my previous aviation background and some of my friends that are DUSTOFF pilots. They were telling us that you were flying at least 20 hours a day, just about.
And of course, down in south, where there was a lot of action going on, you could fly that many hours depending on what operation was going on. But Vietnam was kind of like any other place. You know, the enemy would take breaks, and when they took a break, we had a break.
Right.
You know, so you didn't do that every day. Only when they started an operation, if the unit you were assigned with, the infantry you were supporting, if they went on an operation, then you could expect on the second day of that operation, you're going to have to work, because that's when they were going to be in contact.
Right.
And that could go for 36 hours if they got engaged and they couldn't break contact. You would be flying just nonstop until you got everything done. And then they'd break contact, and I guess they just got tired of fighting, so they'll back off and take a break.
Right.
You know?
Right. And when was I mean, can you remember the first time you went out where you're starting to go, oh man, this is the real deal. This is some serious stuff I'm flying into.
That happened. I think, I'm not quite sure whether that was before I went down south or after, but the time that I knew I was in deep kimchi was I was flying with a captain, very seasoned guy, and we went on a night mission. It was out in the Delta. There was this unit that was somewhere nestled in tall elephant grass. This stuff gets really tall. They had cut out a nice little slot in there for us to go in and pick up a guy. And since they were in contact, we had to take a couple of gunships with us. And it was two of them that was flying a racetrack pattern on either side of us. And they were shooting up anything that was on either side of us. I don't know if it was anything there or not, but they had it lit up.
Right.
And I remember going in there with this guy, and all I did was listen to what he told me to do. I had no idea of where we were, what we were doing, except you're a co-pilot and your job is a radio. That's what you got to do, you know. And we made the pickup and got out of it. Then I really knew this is real stuff.
And most of it, I'm pretty sure. Did you at every time look back to see who you were hauling? Like, did you look back ever?
Oh yeah. Once we got out of the landing zone, early on, the pilots, based on what the medic told them, would make the decision of patient disposition, whether they had to go to, in our case, the 22nd Surgical Hospital, or the 85th evac, or all the way down to Da Nang to the 95th. It just depended on what the nature of the wound was. But later on, we got medical regulators, and they would make that decision on where we would go.
Gotcha.
One key point is that new aviators, especially medical guys, had to get used to. You know, you can see all of this blood and guts on a video, but it's not real until you can smell it. And it takes you about 3 weeks to get used to the smells, because the smells really makes all of that stuff real.
Oh, I can imagine. Especially over the smell of jet fuel, the smell of gunfire, the smell of I couldn't even imagine.
Yeah.
Could you
open wounds and blood and the associated smells? But there's one smell that you will always remember, and that's the smell of death. That's there and it stays. It never goes away.
Did it at all? I mean, it must have took a lot to steel yourself after an event to get back in the cockpit. Did it stop you sometimes a little bit? or did you make you feel hesitant?
Well, you're not exposed to it just constantly.
Mm-hmm.
Not every mission was going to expose you to that, but after so many missions of flying, you kind of got used to it.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same thing, you know. Pathologists that have to do autopsies, they develop a tolerance because they can do it. Morticians, they develop a tolerance. Surgeons, all of those guys develop a tolerance to what they do on a daily basis.
Oh, wow. Yeah. I mean, I myself could not, imagine just the sounds and all that. You're right, sir. I mean, it takes a special kind of pilot to especially deal with this. So tell us about the event that got you awarded the Silver Star.
Well, I was pretty much a rookie.
Well, I mean, you got more awards. I'm just saying, that was just the one that
that day was the 1st of December, 1968. I was flying with, believe it or not, an infantry captain. Now, usually infantry officers don't fly medevac, but this guy was assigned to the 4th platoon of the 45th and Light K, and so I was assigned to fly with him. We had a field standby at Tainan. Our day started at dark 30. I don't know what time in the morning it was, but man, we flew into some stuff. I never forget that morning because it was dark and we were taking fire, and he was flying, and he told me, turn off the running lights. Turn every light on this helicopter off. Well, I turned out the beacon on the top, and I thought I turned off the running lights on the side, but all I did was dim those. And he kept wondering, how do they know where we are?
Oh, man.
There were traces flying all around us. But we didn't get hit. We made the pickup and got out of there. I never told him I didn't dim them.
So
now that particular mission, because somebody thought we did a miraculous job, earned us, I think, a Distinguished Flying Cross or something. I don't know exactly what that did, but the real mission came later when we got a call to pick up a soldier that was had a chest wound, and he was in an LZ that was a bomb crater, really. And so we took off, and this was around probably about mid-morning. Lined up to go in there, and boy, on the way in, we got just all kinds of fire. There were 2 rounds under my seat, which, if we hadn't been moving forward, probably would have came right through the windshield, but they hit under my seat. And luckily, that helicopter had the armor-plated seats. One side is hard steel, and on the inside was a ceramic material. Some of that ceramic material broke off, and because the seat was a mesh seat to keep our bottoms cool, some of that ceramic hit my bottom and stung. So I yelled out that I was hit. Now, those seats have pins in it up front, so you could pull the pin and flip the seat back, because if someone was killed in the front seat, the crew needed to be able to pull that guy out. So the crew chief flipped the seat back, ran his hand down my back, under my bottom, pulled it out, no blood. He said, "You're okay, Lieutenant." Put the seat back up.
Oh, wow.
And I'm a rookie.
Right.
I'm saying, oh well, I know we're gonna have to abort on this one. We can't do this. That guy lined right back up, and right back in we went. And that's when they really smoked us. They really tore us up.
Man.
So we managed to limp that thing out of there, and we crunched it down on the airfield. And this is an interesting side story. In flight school, they would teach you emergency procedures, and they would just drill those things into you. And when you're in flight school, you don't understand the urgency of which they drill that into you. But let me tell you, it pays off when you need it.
Yeah, it does.
Because there was no doubt in our minds when we put that thing down, they had told us you got 11 seconds to be out of that aircraft. You can't be in any longer than that because it might catch fire and you won't get out. Each and every one of us was out under 11 seconds, and we had shut that sucker down in that amount of time. And that's when I got an appreciation for the emergency.
Well, a lot of those emergency procedures are drilled into you, so it becomes muscle memory. So that way,
yes, you just know it.
You just know it, and you just do it, and then you just cycle through it. Have you been shot down before? Have you?
That's essentially was the time that we were really shot down. You know, I've shot up a bunch of times, but that was the only time we had to come down. You know, I mean, because they screwed up the controls on a tail rotor, so we had no control of the tail section, or anti-torque as they call it.
Right.
So we had to bring that sucker in just really wild and crunch it down. We later got another helicopter the same day, went back out there, but unfortunately, the patient had expired. Had expired because the ground medic was fairly new. The ground medic didn't understand if you get a chest wound, you check the front and then you got to check the back, because oftentimes the projectile would go all the way through.
Correct.
And so you would need to tape the backside as well as the front to prevent that collapse, that lung collapse that you'd get if you didn't do that. And unfortunately, that's what happened. They pinned an award on us for that. I don't know whether it was a Silver Star or whether it was.
So yeah, I think that was the Silver Star. The Distinguished Flyer Cross was the lights, and then this one was probably the.
It was 2 awards in the same day.
Right. I mean, because you got to think you got 2 Distinguished Flying Crosses. I mean, you're just rolling in that bling, sir. Now at that time, how far were you in your tour when all these events were happening?
That particular part, I was only in there about maybe 2.5 months.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah. So I was still pretty much a rookie, and that's why I say I was a rookie. You know, and that when we finished that standby out at Tainan, we went back into. We had a call because they needed more than they needed all their assets back at the fire base at Lake Hay, because they were supporting the cab and Swan Lock.
Okay.
And so they had a really bad mission. So this same captain, Forrester, and I flew back to Lake Hay, and he said, "You got to get out. You were just too much of a rookie." So he had to get a more experienced pilot. You know.
But you were. How do I say this? But you were a rookie doing some boss level stuff, though. So I mean, you were just like, you were probably like you were saying, you probably. Your fellow crew members probably thought you weren't a rookie. Everybody,
no, they probably didn't know.
Yeah.
But anyway, he told me, he says, "I got to get a real good pilot for this one," and I didn't argue with him either.
Right. Well, you were probably saying, "Yeah, I'm tired. You go ahead and get another guy."
Yeah. He got a real seasoned warrant officer to fly with him on that one.
Oh, did you? As a matter of fact, how did the warrant officers treat you as a commissioned officer while you were in your experience?
It's like if you treat everybody like a human being and recognize they contribute. Rank doesn't get in the way.
Right.
The only time rank is there is when you get on the ground and then somebody wants to ruffle your feathers. Then they'd find out that.
Yeah.
But in the air, it was if it's a warrant officer, that was a pilot in command or the aircraft commander. Whatever he says went. Mm-hmm. But we get on the ground, we have to straighten those roles reversed.
Right. Understood.
So you got to understand that I'm the platoon leader, and we ain't in the air, guy.
Yeah, I hear you. You. How many missions altogether did you fly in Vietnam?
I don't know. There's a flight book somewhere.
Well, I used to be a former aviation operations. I can look at your 759 if you want.
Yeah. It's laying around here somewhere. You know, I never pull that thing out until I joined the group here called the Quiet Birdmen.
Mm-hmm.
And they wanted to make sure I had enough flying time and enough experience to join their elite group.
Here's a couple of Distinguished Service Crosses, a Silver Star. What you got? You know.
So I had to take my flight records in and let them review those.
Yeah.
And they said, "Okay, you're good to go."
I'm sure. So you spent how many tours did you serve in Vietnam?
I hit it at a time when I only served one.
Okay.
They turn around for medevac pilots depending on when you went over. If you went over there before, if you came back in '68, you could count on going back in about '71.
Okay.
I came back in late '69, and so I didn't get to do that second tour because they were all kind of phasing down. After '71, '72, they were phasing down, so I didn't have to go back.
So it was a matter of just the luck of the rotations that were happening.
Yes, for me it was a rotation because guys before me all got 2 tours.
Mm-hmm.
Some got as many as 3 tours if they went even earlier.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
now
wow.
there is one thing I have to tell you that a standard that we all had learned to live by. It was a Charles Kelly legacy. I don't know if you read about Charles Kelly. Kelly was the major that had one of the first dust-off detachments.
Mm-hmm.
And he set the standards for all aviators. That term, "when I have you wounded," came from him. He would not leave until he made his pickup, no matter what.
Right. As a matter of
that
fact,
particular drive in him caused him his life. And so every medevac pilot, every dust-off pilot lived up to those standards.
Right.
I mean, you know, the worst thing in the world could happen to you as far as your career and the respect of your peers is if you showed cowardice during the mission. You couldn't do that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you had to figure out a way to make it happen.
Yeah, he's considered the father of dust-off.
Yes.
Yeah, and so the quote, because I remember my time in the medevac unit, it was, "We will end our mission when we have your wounded."
Yes.
That was over the hallway.
Yes.
And
yes.
So yeah, right. I didn't even realize that it was Major Kelly that did that.
Yes.
So yeah, it's one of the. I'm gonna tell you what, sir. We always joke around from the guys on the ground that we just like the largest flying objects in the air is the I don't know if I should say this, is the balls of a medevac pilot.
No. I gotta tell you the hierarchy of who's who in the flying game. You know, the fast movers. Those are the guys that fly the jets, Air Force, Marines. You know,
right.
They sit at the right hand of God because they are really there. Now, sitting right next to them are the Army gun pilots and Marine gun pilots that fly helicopters.
Mm-hmm.
And right next to those are medevac pilots.
Well, yeah, amen to that. Amen to that. Oh man. So coming from that, how do I say this? Coming from that, all that action, all that you've experienced, it was time to come home. How did you feel about coming home? And then once you got home, what was your feelings afterwards?
Well, the news there was not as it is here. And so we really didn't know about all the unrest because AFVN didn't publish that.
Right.
We were kept pretty much naive of all that. But I do remember when we boarded a plane and was coming back, we landed at Travis Air Force Base. And we were ushered into the hangar. And we were all told, find yourself some civvies. Open your bag, get your civvies out, and put those on. You can't travel in your military uniform. And that's when we got the briefing about all the unrest and all the kind of unhappy things that could happen to you because you weren't really looked upon as, really good people. And so we changed into civilian clothes and from there went to the various airports. I think it was Oakland or San Francisco. And then we flew out of there. We were treated very nice at the USOs and put on planes, and we flew to our home destination. So there was not any really nasty contact because other than maybe our haircuts, we weren't recognized.
Yeah. Well, I think during that time, haircuts already were still those types of haircuts were still kind of in though, right? I mean, was it...
for guys like me, all ours were close, very close haircuts.
Right.
But if you remember that was a time of a lot of hippies and they had lots of flowing hair.
Yeah,
so my Caucasian buddies, they stood out like.
So what was your reaction when you saw the news though? You're thinking, damn, what's going on? What did it?
Well, it took a while to get accustomed to the notion that there weren't gonna be any parades, and you gotta really be cool because a lot of people didn't appreciate who you were. And consequently, what many of us did, especially us guys who decided to stay in my case, I had a 4-year commitment. So I was only 2 years into that 4-year commitment. So I had 2 years to go. And so the whole notion was, how do I get through these last 2 years without, with the least amount of conflict? And so for a couple of reasons, first reason being I don't want to be hassled, but the other reason is I don't want to remember all the things that I saw and experienced in Vietnam. So I put all that stuff in a big trunk and I just locked it. And rather than have a confrontation with anybody, if they asked me, if they saw me in uniform or assumed or figured out that I was still in the military, I would tell them I hadn't gone to Vietnam so that they didn't have a reason to hassle me. Mm-hmm. And that was how I got through those years until things kind of changed. Now, there's a detriment to doing that. You lock all that stuff away, and you always hear that Vietnam soldiers, veterans, don't talk about it because that's a part of why they don't talk about it, because they didn't want to endure all of that I guess, hatred or whatever you want to call it. They didn't want to endure that. So they just,
my dad said he just didn't want to deal with the BS is what it was. It's just like you were saying.
So we didn't bring it up. Now, the guys who didn't stay in the military, that went back to the Midwest, up in the middle of the country, the Iowas, the Nebraskas, those places, those guys dealt with it, and they did real well as far as adapting and accepting what that was all about. I didn't learn that until I go to the DUSTOFF reunion and I talked to those guys who had already opened those trunks and dealt with that stuff. Mm-hmm. I had never dealt with it, so I just pretended to be as normal as they were, but the trunk will come open when you least expect it to come open.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I remember when we sent a contingent, because I was at Fort Polk, Louisiana, and we sent a contingent down to Panama to deal with Just Cause. When those soldiers came back, we gave them a big parade. I mean, I had my battalion out on the parade field, and man, we were looking good. they were playing a marching song. One of those that's associated with the movie Patton in the Desert.
Mm-hmm.
That song broke the trunk open, and that was not fun out there on that field. But I managed to get it closed.
Yeah. A rush of emotions, I'm sure.
Yes, absolutely.
Now, it wasn't until, I mean, do you feel still today that we're home, that you've been welcomed home? Do you feel like you're?
Oh, I'm at peace with those things.
Mm-hmm.
Funny story is that, folks talk about post-traumatic syndrome and flashbacks. My wife is a character, I would be having, I guess it's a flashback and a nightmare, really. And I could always tell when it was coming on, and if I could wake up, I wouldn't have to experience it. So I was having one of those nightmares where I was trying to get in a foxhole and I couldn't make it in there. And I kept telling her to wake me up before they get me. Now that woman has got a wicked sense of humor. She just sat there and watched me, and I did finally wake up. I said, "Didn't you hear me tell you to wake me up?" And she said, "Yeah, I heard you say wake me up before they get you." I said, "Well, why didn't you wake me up?" She says, "I wanted to see what happened if they got you."
Well, as a matter of fact, you and your wife Rosalind are about ready to are about ready to celebrate your 60th wedding anniversary, correct?
No.
Did you ever happen? Or that
it might feel that long.
Yeah.
It hadn't been that long.
It hadn't been that long?
We're going to celebrate an anniversary in June.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Man, I need to check my notes again. I'm doing my math. I'm just making sure I got my research right. I already messed up the name. Come on. Which time?
There are not many men who know exactly how long they've been married.
I was about to say, yeah.
but they do know one thing: never ever forget that date.
Yeah. Don't forget. Exactly. You don't worry about the math on how long. Just don't forget the date.
Don't forget the date is absolutely right.
And you recently were just inducted in the DUSTOFF Hall of Fame last year, correct?
Indeed. Yes.
How did that feel to be inducted?
I felt pretty good. I would tell you. I felt pretty good joining all of those icons on that wall, and there's some pretty big names up there. And being able to join that group, I felt pretty good. Like I made the grade. Finally.
Right. I was about to say you're like about time, Where were you all at? How come I didn't? You just now picking me?
I mean, the problem is you just got to live long enough. I'm sure that if you could wake Pete Rose up, he'd probably be a pretty happy camper.
Yes, sir. Man, this isn't a sports segment, but man, we could go out on that one. They should have let him in when he was still alive. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
I mean, people still bet on their games on their teams anyways. It don't matter.
Yeah.
Well, sir, is there anything you want to say to the audience? I mean, first off, it's an honor for you to come on.
Yeah.
Is there anything you'd like to say? Any parting words before we log off?
None other than you really can't control what life gives you as you're coming along. You make the best decisions you can, and a whole lot of decisions are not made by you, and some of the ones that are not made by you are the best decisions. Because if I had been making decisions, God knows. But whatever happens in life, my mother used to say, be the task big or small, do it well and not at all.
There we go.
And that stuck with me.
There we go.
And the final part is, if a task is once begun, never leave it until it's done.
Amen to that. Amen to that.
Yeah.
Sir, thank you so much for hanging out with us. And
Indeed.
And again, aren't you supposed to be heading up to a concert soon? Aren't you supposed to be?
Yes, we leave here on Thursday, 22nd.
Okay, and you're
We're
headed.
going to go up and grip and grin and be on our best behavior.
I was about to say you better be good up there. What you guys don't know, Colonel Evans is going to head up to the National Memorial Day concert.
Yes.
And so we're looking forward to seeing him up there. And make sure you throw, give us a shout out as well. And thank you.
I certainly will.
and definitely appreciate you hanging out with us.
Yeah, you guys have made me learn more in these last few Zoom and podcasts.
Yeah. You're a natural, sir. You're a natural. No, you're a natural. All right, guys, we're going to go ahead and finish up. And then me and Colonel Evans are going to be talking. So once again, Colonel Otis D. Evans, our Vietnam veteran, Army veteran, 20-year 7 veteran. He's got like a Silver Star, 2 Distinguished Service Crosses, 3 or 4? 5 crosses. Yeah, I was about to say. Yeah. You got a Bronze Star. You have an Air Medal with numeral 9 on it. Don't sell this guy short. This guy's a boss. So thank you once again, sir, for hanging out with us, and we'll talk to you later. So
thank you for having me.
All right, hang on. So we're going to go ahead and talk when we're done. Stand by.
Hey, this is SEAC retired John Wayne Troxel. You're listening to WTF Nation Radio, the station of choice for all of the badass MFers on the planet.
The voice of U.S. Army, WTF Moments. This is WTF Nation Radio.
Driving us insane. ATF 0 dark 30, no time to complain. Push ups in the mud, feel the muscle strain. Army life is a wild ride. WTF moments can't hide. Through the fire we survive, in the ranks we thrive. It's WTF moments in the Army's grind. Through the blood and sweat we find our kind. In the chaos and the fire we stand aligned. Warriors forged in the battle's bind. Hilltops in the desert, sandstorms in our eyes. Emery for breakfast, no room for lies. Running watches through the night under starless skies. Brothers and sisters, we rise. Army life, it's a wild ride. WTF moments can't hide. Through the fire we survive, in the ranks we thrive. It's WTF moments in the Army's grind. Through the blood and sweat we find our kind. In the chaos and the fire we stand aligned. Warriors forged in the battle's bind. Drill sergeant's fury echoing in the air. Discipline and duty we all must bear. Battle bodies by our side in the fight we share. In the face of danger we dare. Army life, it's a wild ride. WTF moments can't hide. Through the fire we survive, in the ranks we thrive. It's WTF moments in the Army's grind. Through the blood and sweat we find our kind. In the chaos and the fire we stand aligned. Warriors forged in the battle's bind. Souls and firefights, adrenaline's rush. Silent nights, broken by the enemy's hush. Medics on the move in the heat of the crush. In the heart of battle we trust. It's WTF moments in the Army's grind. Through the blood and sweat we find out our kind. In the chaos and the fire we stand aligned. Warriors forged in the battle. Army life, it's a wild ride. WTF moments can't hide. Through the fire we survive, in the ranks we thrive. Memories in our mind. Brothers lost but never left behind. Army WTF moments in the stories we find. In the Army's embrace, we're forever entwined. It's WTF moments in the Army's grind. Through the blood and sweat we find our kind. In the chaos and the fire we stand aligned. Warriors forged in the battle's bind. Through the smoke and the flames we rise again. In the heart of the storm we find our sin. Battle buddies by our side.
Everything stated on WTF Nation Radio is to be considered the opinion of the person that stated it, and not an official representation of WTF Nation Radio or U.S. Army WTF Moments.
Price does not include tax, title, or license. Some assembly required. Each item sold separately. Batteries not included. Objects in mirror are closer than they appear. If conditions persist, contact a physician. Individual results may vary. Keep out of the reach of children. Avoid prolonged exposure to direct sunlight. Keep in a cool, dark place. And
please enjoy the show. Shots.